Hey, my name is Deborah Winters. Welcome to my YouTube channel, a place where you will hear conversations with ordinary people telling their extraordinary stories. Well, welcome back, guys, to my YouTube channel, Their Stories, Part 3. I think we're going to finish today. My guest is Maria Negron.
Yep, you got it.
Yes. So we left off last week with you coming, a door opening for you to leave Kissimmee and come to Lakeland. So can you pick up that?
Yes. Well, I was in the title business, and believe it or not, I was at a red light, and I saw a vision. And a vision is when God drops a plan in you, all right? And
so you are aware of your surroundings.
Yes, I'm aware
and your eyes are open, but you just have a vision.
Yes, I have a vision, and the vision is I see this fire, this like a round globe, and it's on fire. And out of it comes these spokes. And at the end of the spokes, there are these light bulbs.
Wow.
And so I see then people coming out of those light bulbs into the fire, get lit up.
It's like a ring of fire?
Yes, a ring of fire. They get lit up with fire, and they go back to their
light bulb.
And their light bulb just goes, just lights up.
Okay.
And so I was thinking, wow, Lord, this is absolutely awesome. And so anyway, I'll make a long story short, I go to the office, and they asked me, would you like to open up an office in Lakeland, Florida? I'm like, well, I don't know where that is. And oh, yeah, Shirley Arnold is there. Yes, I'll do that. And so, so in any case, I started to ask the Lord, how do you want this fire to emit?
And Shirley Arnold and her husband, Steve, had a ministry in Lakeland. That's why you were excited about coming to be a part of that ministry.
Yes, and I was also helping out with the children.
Okay.
And so, and then with percussion with Marcia. And
Marcia Bridgman, I can't believe you know her.
Yes, it's awesome. I want to reconnect.
I know.
But anyway, we go ahead, and the Lord dropped in my heart, because as I started to know the city, the first thing I go into the city is go to the library.
Do you?
I look and see the history of the city.
Wow.
And I want to know the background. I want to know how it started, where it came from, blah, blah, blah. And who are the main people of that city? And so, and where are the gates into that city?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and the government, and anything having to do with schools, anything, the 8 mountains is what they call it, hospitals and so on and so forth.
I thought it was 7 mountains.
Well, we added the 8th one, which is the hospitals.
I did not. First time I've heard the 8th mountain. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
all right.
Yeah, so I went ahead.
Some people have no idea what we just talked. We'll come back to that.
Yes,
but go ahead.
Yeah. And so I wake up, and I really felt led to call this realtor, and I sit down with him, and I said, his name is Robert, and he's a realtor, and I was talking to him, and it was like, we are like nowhere. The conversation is going
nowhere.
And then I stopped, and I said, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do? And
you stopped in the conversation?
In the conversation with him, and I looked at him, and I said, Robert, I came with one reason, and that obviously, it's to connect with you, to see if you can bring us the business and how we can help you prosper your business. I said, but the Lord doesn't want that. The Lord wants me to tell you about a vision that I just had.
No way.
Yeah. And so he says, yeah, and he sits up, and he says, tell me. And then I tell him, and he says, where did you have that? And I tell him, I said, at a red light and this and this and this date. He says, what time? And I tell him the time. He says, I had the same vision that
he did
afternoon.
not. No.
Yes. I was like, what? He says, yes, I had the same vision. I'm like, well.
So he's clearly a Christian.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He goes to family worship.
He does?
Yeah, he does. Family, Robert Lindquist. So we go
Go ahead.
I love you, Robert. And so Brother Robert is what I call him. So, but anyway, to make a long story short, we go ahead and we started a prayer group downtown in 2006.
You and Robert.
Yep.
Okay.
And all these realtors started to come.
Really? Downtown?
Yep.
Where downtown?
Mitchell's
Coffee.
Coffee House.
Love their chicken salad. Go ahead.
And so they have a room in the back.
They do.
And it's the only
That was
place we can find.
2006?
Yes.
And this is 2022, and you're still meeting
Every
at
Tuesday.
Mitchell's Coffee.
Every Tuesday, 7:30 to 8:30 in the morning.
Really?
We meet. Yep.
Can anyone come?
Yes, absolutely. You're welcome to come.
Every
We
Tuesday,
have
Mitchell's Coffee.
Name the
on Kentucky.
Yes, on Kentucky Avenue downtown. We name the church. They're there.
Really?
And we have a call, so if you want to get on the call, we got
You
a
do?
lot of
Okay.
we got a lot of teachers that are or a lot of people are getting ready to go to work.
2006. This is a long time.
Oh yeah. So we have the mayor show up. We have sheriff shows up. Police shows up. Whoever coming in and out.
That is amazing.
Sometimes-
I'm retired. I don't know if I want to get up and be in Lakeland at 7:30, but I could. I could call in though.
Yeah, call
okay.
in. Yeah.
This is so amazing.
Yeah. So we've been and then out of that we have assignments. We go to different places and do different things around the city.
Pray.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, these are all intercessions. We've been to the 7 universities. We have been to downtown when they had all those horrible pictures.
Yes.
We have an assignment there, and within 2 months they were all gone.
Really? Okay. Wow.
So I mean, there are impacting things that you do in
have
a
toiled the ground
Yes,
in
we
Lakeland,
have.
haven't you?
We have. But here's the biggest thing that I love, and that is that we have people that now have a passion for intercession. And
You've done a lot of sewing, haven't you?
Yes, we have. One of the things that we did, believe it or not, I think it was in 2008 or 2014, I can't remember all these numbers, but we took the city of Lakeland's map and we divided it into 4 quadrants.
Okay.
And we started at the first quadrant went from 6 in the morning until 9, from 9 to 12, 12 to so on and so forth. So if your church was in that quadrant, we spent over 2 months going to every single one of the churches in those quadrants.
Really?
And we said, your time frame is between 6 and 9 or 12 and 3 or 3 and 6. I said, would you be open to pray during that time? And pastors would say, absolutely, yes, yes, yes. And now we're talking 6 in the morning till 6 in the morning the next day. 24-hour vigil. And so the response that I got from a lot of the pastors was, I did not know, my people did not know how to pray. And so out of that, they started to teach about prayer. And out of that, there are churches that had only 1 or had 0 prayer groups and now had, like your church, has
we
5.
have prayer every day of the week. Sunday, of course, we're in church, but we have a prayer group. In fact, I co-lead a prayer group on Thursdays.
You didn't have it until that time.
Is that crazy?
Right after that, all the churches started to get 2 or 3 prayer groups together. Wow. And your church just magnified the whole thing.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
okay.
and here's the thing: we had people that in some subdivisions that love to do the golf cart thing. Okay, so
you mean like playing golf and driving their golf cart in golf communities?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, but I don't know. I'm not a golfer.
I wasn't sure what you were going.
So ready for this?
Yes.
So I said, why don't you put on the front of your golf cart? We have a National Day of Prayer. Would you stop us if you want prayer?
Oh.
And so they had a whole list of people that wanted to do that. And out of it, 38 people got saved on the National Day of Prayer like 3 or 4 years ago. And then there's a bicycle club that did the same. And then there's a roller skating club that did the same.
Did the same? They would just hold up signs? Wow.
Put small signs in front of their bicycles or on their here.
Yeah. Wow. So we haven't talked about your heritage. When did you investigate that to find out your bloodline? And
Well, I was in a process.
can we ask about that? Is now a good
Yes,
time? Okay,
sure.
okay.
I was in the process of going from one church and being released to another.
Was that here in Lakeland?
That was here in Lakeland.
Oh, okay. So okay.
Yeah, I was at Shirley's.
Okay.
And so I really felt like the Lord had another assignment. I knew He had another assignment for me. So I got their blessing. You never ever leave a church unless you talk to the pastor,
Right.
and you get their release.
Gotcha.
And get their input. And she felt, yes, it was of the Lord. And so I, for the next 6 months, I just waited on the Lord and I just prayed. And I was watching, I think a CTN or one of the Christian, and there was this gentleman, and I stopped right then and there, and he was talking about Spain and about the Jewish people, and how in 1493, when Christopher Columbus left Spain, that Jewish people were on those ships, and how Christopher Columbus got so much money to be able to pay for those 3 ships.
Wow.
And it wasn't through the Queen and the King, it was the Jewish people had gone because the Inquisition was starting, and the Jewish people wanted the Queen and the King of Spain to not get into that Inquisition. And so
it was their money.
It was their money. And so what happened was a cardinal came behind him after he did the president and gave the money. A cardinal a couple of days later found out about it and told the king and the queen, if you do this, you will be excommunicated from the Catholic Church. Now this is history. This is written. Okay?
I didn't know this.
So then Christopher Columbus comes in afterwards, and they have all this money. They said, okay, go buy 3 ships. So he buys the 3 ships that everybody knows, but on there they're taking these Jewish people, because the same day that he leaves Spain is the same day Inquisition started in Spain.
Wow. The timing.
The timing. And so a lot of the people came to Puerto Rico, Cuba, and so right now, actually, we just found out 45% of the island in Puerto Rico are Jewish descent.
No.
Yep. And so I didn't know this. I was just looking and saying, and so I went ahead and I got the DNA test out of my brother and my uncle for both sides, and wound up that my dad is from Belgium and from Ashkenazi, and my mother is from Spain, and she is Sephardic. Both of them Jewish backgrounds. And so I was like, praise God, and what is all of this about?
Now that I know this.
Yeah, so then I spent the next few months just reading and learning about the Jewish culture, what is it that, their feasts,
Yes.
and so on and so forth. And then there was a revival happening in town, and my brother came, and I said, why don't we go and see about this revival? And we couldn't get in, but then the next Wednesday I went, and I stood there, and the Lord dropped in my heart, this is where I have you assigned for a specific amount of time. And so I have been there just,
Yeah, up until this point in time.
Yeah, and then from there, the door opened like 3 or 4 years ago for me to lead the National Day of Prayer.
Yes, I wanted to hear about that.
Yeah, so when what happened was, since we got together a group, I remember that when we did the quadrants,
Yes.
okay, right after that we did a worship time downtown at Munn Park.
Yes.
And so
Now,
we
who
had-
led that?
I did.
Okay.
And with James Joseph, and with he's got a ministry, he's a pastor, and then with John Freet, he's
Okay.
with Believers.
Yes, yes.
And so we all 3 got together, and they mainly paid for this and that and this other, and I did the going around all the churches and inviting them to come downtown.
Gotcha.
So we led that, not knowing that there was a National Day of Prayer.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't know this. And
How
so,
long have we had a National Day of Prayer?
since it's going on 71 years.
71, and And you didn't know. Okay.
I did not know.
Okay, go ahead.
So, actually, Friar Wade came to me, and he was involved with the National Day of Prayer, and he says, I don't want to do this anymore. Would you want to take the realm? And I said, yeah, I guess. He says, you've already done it. Let's continue. And I said, okay. And he says, my passion is City Hall.
Okay.
Let me just do City Hall. And so I said, okay. So, so then from there, I got a call, and they asked me if I wanted to do the state of Florida. And I said...
The state of Florida?
Yes. Yeah.
How long had you been doing local prayer?
Oh, since 2014.
And so...
Yeah.
And that same year, when did you get the call for Florida?
Probably 2017, 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got the call from Sophia. She was down in Orlando, and she was covering Florida, and she says, this is too much. Can you coordinate with me?
Okay.
I said, absolutely. I said, you have this strength. I said, but as long as I can develop educational programs, as long as I can go into cities and train these volunteers, I'm there. And so that's
what does this look like? Do you go... So
Well,
this year you went to Miami. Where
Yes.
do you go to Miami every year?
No.
Okay.
This is the first time I've been to Miami.
So who decides?
Well, what happened is it depends on what the focus is. And the focus down in Miami was their first time mayor's breakfast.
Oh.
And they wanted us to sponsor it.
Okay.
Plus, Miami and Dade County had just elected the National Day of Prayer in their public schools.
Oh, they had just gotten passed the law.
Yes,
To open
they
it
did.
back up for the schools, right?
Yes, they did. So that was like a month and a half ago. I went to Miami, and the school board was meeting.
Okay.
We waited 4 hours for this. Eventually, the subject came up. I presented
school
to the school board. I presented what was the National Day of Prayer, what was its focus, and just gave them the whole idea about the National Day of Prayer, and that it is a constitutional right and also a constitutional law since 1958 and 1988. So this is law under the guidelines of our Constitution.
Yes.
That you can meet and you
Yes.
can pray. And so every first Thursday of May, you have the National Day of Prayer. All 50 states, Hawaii all the way to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, all of them pray, have a time frame of prayer. And so what we do is then we encourage people to go on to www.nationaldayofprayer.org and check out our our
Yes.
website, and there is a volunteer. You can join and volunteer, and they'll connect you with a person in your city, and then I'll come in and I will do the training and share with you
In Florida.
in Florida.
So now we just had National Day of Prayer last Thursday.
Yes.
So it's not too soon to prepare for next year, right?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So now this is what happened.
Tell us what happened.
I do this presentation there at the school board in Miami.
And when was that?
This was like a month ago.
Okay.
And Sophia was there, Pauline, ambassador, was there, and several attorneys were there to bring forth the legality with regards to how this is legal to be able to do. And I said, it's been 60 years since June 4th of 1962 where schools were no longer able to read the Bible and pray. So this is the 60th year. And so, and this is a constitutional right that these children have. And so the Constitution right that they have is to say, I can pray. Doesn't matter if it's 2 hours, 1 hour, 1 minute. They have the choice of that day to pray. And so anyway, that school board, all of them voted it in.
They did.
And
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Wow.
And within within 2 weeks, they put this all together. 2 or 3 weeks, they put this all together. And then last week, I was at the first mayor's breakfast for the city of Hialeah.
Yes.
And I'm sharing now, and we help sponsor the whole thing. And I'm sharing with them about the history of this prayer for schools, and that there had been 25 schools. Now, this is in 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. 25 schools that are now praying.
Wow.
On the National Day of Prayer, which is what? The first Thursday of every May of every year.
Yes.
And then I shared with them about the proclamations. The proclamation comes from Washington, D.C., the president. There's a proclamation that comes in from the governor, and there's a proclamation that comes in that we provide for the mayors of every city for them to sign.
Do they read it?
And they read it at their, normally at the National Day of Prayer, or they actually read it at churches, however they want to do it. Yeah. So,
and our governor, DeSantis, walked in, and you were not expecting him to come in.
I did not expect it. I was sharing.
I didn't bring your book again.
Yeah, that's okay. So, and Sophia is praying.
And who's Sophia?
Sophia is my co-coordinator.
Okay.
And she is out of Orlando.
Okay.
And so she mainly knows a lot of these pastors on the Miami area, and then she also covers some of the East Coast. I cover the West Coast, all the way from Pensacola all the way down.
Okay.
So, and then several central. And so we kind of like split it all up. And so he shows up when he's in the background, I should say, when we were praying. So I'm sure he heard. And I was just blown away. And I gave him one of my books. I was like, yes, Lord, you're so cool. And, and it's about the children, his children.
Did he walk up and speak?
Yes, he did.
He did?
He did. He shared.
It's all about the children. I love how.
Yes.
Yes.
And he, that book goes to his children for him to read to his children. And it's all the children. I mean, we have a generation that has been wiped out. 66 million children have been
Is that
killed.
amazing? And what's even more amazing is that I read a stat just the other day is half of the African American, the black population, is wiped away.
Yes.
They've lost half of their population.
Yes. And
is that
it's a generation. We're looking at a generation. So what are we doing? We need to. I mean, the Lord has dropped within many a pastors to reach this upcoming generation, and we're talking elementary school all the way up to the 40s.
Yes.
Because these people in the 40s don't know about Jesus.
Right.
They're lost. They have their own concepts of liberality and computers, and it's so we are looking at I call it a Josiah generation, because it's going to be a last generation before the coming of the Lord. And it is. Josiah started at 8.
Wow.
And then he finished when he was 26. And look the major things that he did within that short period of time. And so we are looking at a Josiah generation to go up and tear down
Save the babies.
And
save the babies.
Exactly right.
Yes.
Yep. And a lot of them are just so eager to get saved and to know about Jesus.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see, listen to this. You go to a Starbucks, or you go to any one of these coffee stores.
Yes.
And what do you see on a Saturday? Bible studies, prayer groups. Yes! And all these young kids, teenagers are just studying the word.
Yes.
Isn't
They've
that
got
awesome?
it. They've caught the vision, haven't they?
Yes. And
I
so,
love it.
I have had, I've had a youth that he was a freshman. He started a prayer group at Houston High School.
Where's in Texas?
Texas.
Okay.
Houston, Texas. That's one of the biggest schools. He started when he was freshman. When he graduated, it was the biggest club in his school. Biggest club in his school.
Wow.
And why not? Why not today? You know, why
Yes.
not can God do a marvelous thing? And we just recently had Fellowship of Christian Athletes. One of the kids got up on his chair and witnessed to all the kids that were in the hallway. And everybody was saying, shut up, sit down, blah, blah, blah.
Really?
And he did. He just not sat down. He
So
just
FCA, Fellowship
Fellow
of Christian Athletes. Go ahead.
So he gets off of his chair and everybody's telling him to shut up, other than the 4 kids that wanted Jesus Christ into their hearts.
Wow.
So he may have
just those 4.
Just those 4.
Hey, even one makes a difference,
even
right?
one. For him to stand up.
Yes.
I've had a youth stand up at a pizza restaurant. Stand up in a pizza restaurant and start sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And 3 kids got saved.
So now the FCA you're talking about, is that local?
Yes, every
Okay.
school tends to have a FCA.
But now I'm talking about this particular situation. Did it happen in Polk County?
Yes,
Oh,
it did.
okay.
It did happen in Polk
Because I have
County.
several friends that are involved with that. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if they know the story.
Yeah, and we now have a very, very, oh my goodness, passionate intercessor that is now at one of the high schools that here in Lakeland, that is
Really?
the hot potato of Lakeland.
Yes.
Oh,
That is
yeah.
so good.
Oh, yeah.
All that sowing, all that toiling the ground.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, I think we've come to a conclusion, which is oh, we're good. I'm good. We're good. I have to keep looking at the clock.
Yeah.
So, is there anything you'd like to say as we wrap up the conversation? Does something just jump out at you that you just feel compelled to say?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good.
And that is that no matter what you do day by day, spend time with Jesus Christ. There's 2 things for you to be led down the right road, because Josiah didn't go to the left or to the right. And the reason is because for us today, we have the light of Jesus Christ to show us the pathway. And we have the truth that tells us if it's the right or to the left. And with those 2 things, the light and the truth, you're going to go down the right pathway. And when you are in the right pathway, the only thing that can happen is the glorious movement of God and revivals that we are all passionately looking for. Amen.
Amen. Oh, so good. I just totally enjoyed this 3-part story. And I didn't
Thank
tell
you.
you guys that we have on our sunglasses because the sun has just been crazy
Yes.
bright and we didn't want to
Yes.
squinch.
Yes.
So
Yes.
hopefully you're okay with that. Thank you, Maria.
welcome.
We're going to continue this new connection off camera.
Absolutely.
Bless you.
Bless you.
God bless you guys. Have a great day and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.